And take us
Correct.
to the night that you were at this bar on the Upper West Side. What were you all going there for?
There was a going away party. I had moved on to the entertainment side of ABC. And I had just finished producing, I don't know if you remember, David Blaine's Lincoln Center 2-hour live special where he lived in a bubble for a week and he went for the breath hold world record. And I had produced that special, but someone from ABC was leaving Primetime Live and had invited me to the going away party. Now, I made it a habit not to go. I rarely I did anything more than drop in to a going away party. I always felt that people's arrivals should be celebrated and not, but I would always be up for a respectful toast. I'd be there for the toast and wish them luck in the next chapter and leave. I had no desire to, spend a night drinking with people who worked for me. I was the boss. I felt that was not appropriate.
Right.
So, but I was invited and I was honored to be invited because I wasn't there anymore. And I thought I would just drop in, have a quick toast, meet my husband there because we were driving back to Connecticut from Manhattan together. So I thought we'd meet there. He usually would just pick me up, outside the building. But I thought, let's meet here and then we can go together, go home.
So you go into the bar and Chris Cuomo sees you. And what happens?
He walked right into the bar, walked right over to me, gave me a bear hug, slipped one hand down my body to my buttocks, and squeezed really hard on my cheek while saying, I can do this to you now that you're no longer my boss. And I pushed him away and said, no, you can't. And as I pushed him away and stepped back, it revealed that my husband was sitting on a very low ottoman, which you couldn't see him. While I was talking to people I worked with, he was just sitting there drinking a Diet Coke, waiting for to leave. He didn't know anybody. And so he saw everything. It was right in front of him. Maybe even eye level.
At this moment, here's this guy who's, an anchor, a talent at the network. You're in a very well-respected position there. You've been there almost 20 years. And what goes through your head as this guy has the nerve to squeeze your ass?
It was belittling. It was clearly a power trip. It to make me feel, you're no longer my boss. I can do anything I want with you. He knew something in his head said he couldn't do that when I was his boss. Maybe he thought he would get, I would fire him or something. But it was meant to diminish. Chris Cuomo's over 6 feet tall. I'm 5'2". I'm under 100 pounds. And it was overpowering, and I certainly didn't like it.
To me, I feel like anyone who is that brazen with a female work colleague, especially one who had just been above them on the power totem pole, must have done it before. That doesn't sound like somebody who's experimenting with that kind of behavior for the first time. What do you think?
I really don't know. I didn't discuss it, as you know, until now. So it's not like I was, you know, talking to everybody at work and that it was like the buzz. And I just left, went home, and I didn't report it.
Did you talk to anybody about it there? Did you go to like a colleague and say, holy cow?
I mentioned it to a close colleague at, I had moved on and it was at prime time, but I called somebody that I had remained close to at Good Morning America, one of the senior producers, and said, because people who knew that, that he was just more of this arrogant frat boy personality. And I said, you won't believe what happened. And it's not. So I talked to a friend at the time and just really talked to my husband about it. And my husband has always said, and it's interesting, I heard from another, when the editorial was published, I heard from Brian Rooney, who was an ABC correspondent. And he said to me, he was the first person who called early in the morning and said, Shelley, I think there are two kinds of men in the workplace. One who behaves like Chris Cuomo, and the other cannot fathom ever behaving like that.
Yeah.
He said, I can't imagine, manhandling one of my female colleagues. And my husband always said that he would like read about sexual harassment. And he was, a boss who hired lots of women and lots of women vice presidents. He just could never believe. He's like, what am I, the nerd? I mean, I don't get it. I don't get how people...
He's the gentleman. He's a normal man. A normal man doesn't behave like this at the office.
No.
My husband, too, is the CEO of a company for a long time, would never dream of behaving this way. I think about my pal Janice Dean, married to a firefighter. He's around a lot of guys with a lot of testosterone. Never that most men do not behave like this. But Chris Cuomo and, as we now know, his brother Andrew seem to behave differently and look at women differently. And your op-ed was very well timed because not only did Chris defend his brother Andrew, we now know, but was actively involved in trying to diminish the women who accused him. And people said, it's his brother. And I said, no, you advise your brother as a brother. You call him after hours to say, brother, I'm here for you. Come over, let's have a beer. You don't actively join the strategy sessions trying to tear down the women as just cancel culture warriors. And he's been given a total pass for it by CNN.
Well, that was the reason. It wasn't the timing. That's the timing I selected. I got a lot of pushback on social media. Like, why did I wait 16 years? Well, I didn't wait 16 years. I wasn't lying in wait. I just had something to say now. And what I had to say after 40 years of experiencing and advocating against harassment in the workplace, I saw a moment where people were being held accountable as the enablers.